out here in the building. Um, Absolutely immaculate. First of all, I must introduce myself. I go by the name of Rico. You can see my absolute brother, my twin, if it were, a Mr. Rah over here. Um, Slightly more muscles than I have, but only just. The summer will tell us what we need to know. However, we have a new banner. If you look above us right now, Rico and Rah, RnR, immaculate viewing, immaculate showing. Thank you for coming and vibing with us. The RnR hour will happen every Thursday, like it's supposed to do. However, we have a special guest who I am bringing onto the show right now. You know him, you love him. He will be a world champion. And I think I'll put my organs on that actually. His name is William Crowler. God damn it, Jesus Christ! Give a round of applause for the one Crowler. William, how you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? You okay? He's okay.
Very well, thank you, my guy. How
Welcome,
are you?
William.
You okay, bro? Well, I'm good, man. I'm good. Just finished another hard day's training then. Just in bed resting up now for another one tomorrow to finish the week off.
Well,
Will,
to be
can I
fair,
start? Are you a full-time pro?
Yeah, I'm a pro, full-time pro, yeah.
All right, wicked. No work tomorrow, as
Lucky
in
enough.
normal work.
Yeah. Just boxing work, man, which I'm thankful for to my sponsors. But to finish the week strong tomorrow.
well, Will, do you want to because obviously, before we go into everything, before we, big up to Tony Ellis and big up to everybody on the space right now that's coming through and people that are watching it. Everybody knows that I'm heavily biased towards a one crawler. Okay. People know this, and I'm unapologetic. What we need to realize is that William absolutely dispersed his opponent in emphatic fashion. Emphatic. Not only has he done that, however, William, you've secured yourself something. Are you okay to kind of say that right now, or is
I
it?
think anyone who watched my last fight, I'm sure. Or if you didn't, check out on YouTube, get the views up there on that. But I think at the end, what the signature thing I done was pretty obvious. So I think if all goes well in 3 weeks on the show I'm fighting on, then it's pretty obvious. I think what'll happen.
Well, to be honest with you, William, I know that you were going to disperse another opponent in crazy fashion. To be honest with you, I almost feel like you have to almost spark out Muhammad Ali in his prime to get where I know you're going to be. So don't worry, you won't have to do that. However, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is the RnR Hour, and in RnR fashion, we have a lot to talk about. William, you are our special guest. However, we are going to be talking boxing, and our favorite topic, a little bit more boxing. So, Ra, first of all, I want to start with you. How have you been, Ra?
I'm fantastic. You know, I go to all the boxing shows, big and small. Looking forward to seeing you on the South Coast soon.
Have
With
you
a
been
post-fight party. You've
been doing
promising
those
me
app
that
crunches?
for a long time, but you never come out. Come on, you're the little brother here. You're meant to show me a good night out. But yes, and
Oh,
we'll
no.
tell you if ever you come up to Manchester, hey, Manchester's party city. Then
Yeah, Manchester's good, man. Manchester's good.
I think we've all just got a whole party vibe from Will's next match. Not even that, to be honest with you. The summer will be around the corner. However, right now, it doesn't matter where you are within the UK, you are probably being battered by Storm, Sian, Syrian, or a lovely lady that just didn't like you from before you were famous. That's exactly where we are. So, guys, let's move on to some topics. The first topic being Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou. Now, Will, we've obviously spoken about this on the show. Rah, I haven't spoken about this before yet. However, I would like to know, Rah, I'm going to go with you first. What did you think about Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury? What did you think about the outcome, the fight, just everything?
I personally didn't think the scoring was a robbery, as a lot of people think. I think it's because the gap in levels between them is so great that for a first fight novice to run the self-proclaimed best heavyweight of his generation that close, it's such a moral victory. It seems all, I think in most people's minds that they think it's almost a shame he didn't actually just get the win. But I mean, if these were two unknown guys and you just watched how the fights went, I don't think 6 rounds to 4 was wrong scoring at all. So the two judges that gave it for Fury can't say there was anything wrong with the scoring per se, but it's just the fact that this guy who has been shouting for the longest that he's the best heavyweight possibly of all time, and certainly his sycophantic followers have been saying that, to be run that close by an absolute novice, it was an utterly atrocious performance. You know me, I've been saying for a long time, I think Fury would not only get beaten and stopped by Usyk, I've been saying for a while, I think he gets stopped by the next top level heavyweight he fights. And that's why we're seeing all this goofiness from him through the past few years. You know, the in, then he's out, he's retired, then he comes back, he wants fights and then doesn't want them, tries to force opponents to, tries to rush them into fights on his schedule, then just fights guys he's already beaten. And all of that suggests to me that deep down Fury knows his well is probably empty. Those 3 fights with Wilder in particular, and the years of abusing his body, he's probably feeling it. And certainly I know Alan Babbage has said this coming out of some sparring sessions with Fury. He says he's just absolutely injury riddled now. Maybe he knew all along his body's about to give up the ghost. That's why he wanted what he thought was going to be a really easy payday in Ngannou, and found out it weren't easy because his body's probably closer to breaking down than even he realised. So, yeah, I do think Fury gets conclusively beaten by the next top heavyweight he fights. If he's lucky, the Saudis will still put up a big payday for him. But yeah, I don't think any of us could have foreseen that an absolute novice would run him that close. But hey, listen, and that's not me hating. I like Fury, but a warning to you: you're still young, but one day your body will break down. Everyone's got a limit in this sport, and how well your body holds up, well, that will differ from fighter to fighter. So, of course, yeah, that's how I saw it.
Thank you very much, my guy Rod. Just reading the comments right now. Will I am big up. First of all, thoughts on the Ngannou versus Fury from Biyaka Saka, Will?
Like I was shocked at how well Ngannou done, but then I don't know if it's just how bad Fury was. Like Raj said, I think what we saw was just a very, very, very poor Tyson Fury. And I was gonna say, I said it this week, Joshua blasts Ngannou out there in a few rounds. 100% he does, and I think Wilder does the exact same. I'm pretty. I was gobsmacked Fury didn't do that. I was expecting that's what was going to happen, and like I say, I don't know. He might be right. His body might be giving up on him, and it might be time to retire. But I doubt he'll fancy the Usyk fight next after that, anyway.
Well. Just to put some statistics out there, Maurizio Salaman, the head of the WBC, who William, for the title you'll be facing one day, he has actually said that Francis Ngannou has earned a top 10 heavyweight ranking in the month of November. I mean, December. Actually, no. Quick maths.
December,
Yes,
November.
that's the. So the ranking comes out. The rankings come out at the end of the month. So by the end of November, Francis Ngannou will have earned a top 10 heavyweight ranking, meaning that he is eligible for the WBC title. And I believe, and both of you know that my ears are so close to the ground. I'm being stomped by deer in every single country. I believe that all other sanctioning bodies are going to follow suit. Now, I want to ask both of you this. What do you guys think about Francis Ngannou being sanctioned for any single title that we have within the division? Okay, what do you think about that? Because we have the next up is a Philip Hrgovic, and obviously, we're going to get to your weight division in a second because we both have so much to say about it, and including yourself. But with that being said, what do you both think about that? What do you both think about the fact that Francis, and I'm going to say this on record, he beat the shit out of Fury in front of God and Prince Ali, Fabulous He, Ali Ababwa, and every single prince and sultan in the great kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Okay, shout out to my guy. Rah, we're going to start with you, then we're going to go with our illustrious guest, Will.i.am.
I mean, it's hard. It's still very hard to. I mean, I never get carried away by a single fight, and that includes Fury. I'm not totally writing Fury off either. It's possible he was just totally demotivated, mentally not up for it. I know fighters say, "Yeah, I trained properly." You can go through the motions of training, but if subconsciously you think this is just a run out, then that psychological effect, the subconscious effect has is a factor. But it's hard to say for sure how good Ngannou is. I'm inclined to think that he is a tremendous physical specimen, because we saw Fury did catch him with shots and they just bounced off. So it looks like he's got tremendous punch resistance. We know he can hit. I was surprised that he seemed fairly comfortable for over 10 rounds for a man as bulky and muscular as him. Looking at the top 10 rankings, going by the BoxRec rankings, no, he's not a top 10 heavyweight. However, we know the governing body top 10s, we know they got a lot of duff fighters in there. And I think Francis would beat some of them. Me personally, I was talking to some of our colleagues in the media yesterday, Based a Kid, shout out to him. I reckon someone like Manuel Char, I reckon he's the sort of guy that they should beat. Because look, Char's been trying to get a payday for how long, talking all sorts. He ain't going to get Joshua or Fury, but he's well known over there in the Middle East. So maybe give him a Manuel Char. I mean, I think Francis probably deserves a good run at this for a couple of years. It looks like he's staying in boxing. If you consider guys like Zhang's 40, 41, Francis at 37, give him a good 3 years or so. So I don't think that there needs to necessarily be a rush to go in with all the top heavyweights. Maybe give him Char, Lucas Brown, maybe a Jarrell Miller, guys who, they're well known, bit of a name, and there'll be a couple of fun fights, and then we can get a better idea of his actual level, because it's possible that, like I said, maybe it's just that Fury is totally shot. Maybe that was a one-off fluke fight. We don't know. So I wouldn't be in a rush to get him in with the genuine top 10 yet. But he can, I do believe, just based on his physical traits, he can beat some of the top 10 ranked governing body heavyweights. Because, like I said, they got some tough fighters in there. Some of them are really fragile now. Some who are shot, but are still in the top 10 because they're a bit of a name. So that's the way I'd go with him. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with them ranking him in the top 10. On paper, Fury was still the number one heavyweight, and to have run him that close, yeah, why not? And you know what? it's unprecedented for an absolute novice to go in at that level on his debut. But historically, there was a guy who fought for the world title in his debut.
Rah, they robbed that man of the greatest biopic that we have ever seen in life and legend. They robbed no, they robbed him. Can you imagine going to the cinema right now, and then at the end of that movie, he bangs up Tyson Fury, and me, you, Will, eating our popcorn quite next to each other, are just like, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied with life. I'm satisfied with everything. And do you know what it is? I'm going to ask our special guest right now, Will I Am. Obviously, considering that they robbed him, obviously considering that Tyson lost that fight.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say, Will. And I think everybody would like to hear what you have to say, future champ.
Like about the governing body, about him getting ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, we can move to the biopic last, but yes, that.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have gone another way about it. Like, I don't fought someone lesser, but he just boxed Tyson Fury, didn't he? And he did push him close. Was that a proper sanctioned fight, that, or was it still just like an exhibition?
Will, that was not an exhibition fight. That was for records.
It was a real fight. The British Boxing Board of Control, they sanctioned it, which is all the more bizarre because I thought they're usually strict about these things. But
also,
I guess I just want to say, money makes anyone drop their principles.
they sanctioned a British heavyweight title fight, the Lonsdale belt, on foreign soil. I just want to shout out to the British Boxing Board of Control for just being so just nice, you know. But yeah, Will, you carry on. Yes, it was a sanctioned fight, bud.
Yeah, then I'd probably give him a top 10 ranking. Like Rah said, then I think there's a lot of heavyweights who hang about for years, like you say, they washed up. And I'd give him one. I don't particularly like the idea of it, but I'd definitely give him one.
Well, gentlemen, it seems that Francis Ngannou has not just shocked the hearts and minds of a nation, but he's earned the minds and hearts of every nation, to be honest with you. I mean, he's 19 stone of pure Cameroonian inside alpha male fightingness. That man has pretty much, he can decide any fight right now. And I just want to ask you both two more questions, and we're going to move on to your division, Will. So, with that being said, now, Francis apparently is in talks to fight Deontay Wilder. That obviously means that we won't get Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. I want to hear your thoughts, William. I'm going to go to you next first, but I just want to know, like, Deontay Wilder versus Francis Ngannou. What do you think about that, Will?
I think Wilder ends that in a few rounds. Like
even after the elbow, Will. Even after that.
Yeah, Wilder's got freakish power, man. I think he's one of the hardest hitting heavyweights ever, not just of this decade. Wilder, just the leverage he gets on his shots. But if that happens, I'd bank on it that Wilder does him in 400%. I'd probably watch it. I'm not gonna lie, I'd watch it. But I'd rather.
I think we all will. Will. I think we all will. 1,000,000%, bro. Rah, what do you think?
If it means we don't get AJ Wilder, I'll be very disappointed because I think if AJ Wilder doesn't happen in the first half of 2024, I think it'll be like Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. It'll just be always remembered as that fight that should have happened that didn't. Yeah, so that would be disappointing. It seems like actually both of them are chasing Ngannou now because Eddie Hearn keeps talking about they're in talks with him. So it looks like this current crop of heavyweights, they all want. I mean, fair enough, we know how hard this game is, but apart from Usyk, they all are looking for some real big paydays rather than legacy, which I guess that's the sport we're in at the moment. As for Wilder v Ngannou, yeah, again on paper, you'd expect Wilder to do it easily. However, again, I might be a dissenting voice in this. I think there's serious question marks over Wilder because his behaviour has been odd ever since that third Fury fight. I mean, he's disappeared. This is a man that used to have a lot to say for himself on social media. Now he just leaves Malik Scott to do all his talking for him. More importantly, why don't we see him in the ring anymore? He's been in the ring for 90 seconds in 2.5 years. And that 90 seconds didn't bring out enough to see where's his punch resistance like after getting badly knocked out himself. What's his mental state like? And with that level of inactivity, approaching nearly 40, what's the timing and precision with that right hand going to still be like? So I would expect Wilder to win in 4 rounds. But again, it wouldn't surprise me now, given the question marks I've got about Wilder and what we saw of Ngannou, if he shocks the world again. I shy away from, or I bitch out from actually saying he'll win. But at the very least, I wouldn't be surprised if Ngannou made it a hard night's work for Wilder.
First of all, I'd like to big up Mr. Desang. Shout out to you, my brother. Thank you so much for supporting us and everything like that. Well, gentlemen,
check out their podcast, Sport Desang. Brilliant podcast.
Amazing podcast. But they don't have Will I Am just on deck. So yeah. No, I'm joking. Big up to Alex and the crew. We love you guys, honestly. Okay, gentlemen, just to summarize, we have our lineal champion that I've watched that fight back 7 times now. 6 of them unofficially. 1 of them I actually scored it. I've had Francis Ngannou up by 2-3 rounds, including the knockdown. Okay. And that's not including the illegal elbow. Okay, so that's just me. However, the top 3 or top 4 heavyweights right now, it seems to be in disarray because obviously we have the 23rd, which Tyson said if Usyk doesn't meet me, he'll get sued. Then obviously this has happened and he said, oh, have a great Christmas, guys. I'll see you next year. It just seems so meh. So that's why we're going to move on because I don't have enough paracetamol for all of us to share for this headache that is the yeah, I know. So we're going to move on to something exciting. Will I am. So we have somebody at a at super welter at 154 pounds. His name is Tim Tszyu in Australia. Absolutely, this man is decimating all of his competition right now. Will I am. We're going to start with you, obviously. I thought that he would have at least a bit of competition in his last outing, but I mean, my God, the question that I have for you both is that 154 Charlo obviously he didn't look his best against Canelo, and that's putting it very mildly. But I want to know from you, Will, with the number 1 contender at Tim Tszyu at 154 pounds, and so many people knocking at his door, which you yourself, I believe that door will be knocking by the end of next year, beginning of 2025. You can log it, by the way, and record this. It's recorded. Will,
pressure on
well, what do you think about the 154 division in terms of Tim Tszyu and in terms of a Mr. Charlo?
Tim Tszyu, I think I said to you the other day, I never used to think he was that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the last few fights, I think he can really fight. He's shocked me a bit. I think Shakur Stevenson said the same. I think he said he shocked him. Know how good he is. And the Charlo he'd face, is that the one who Canelo's just beat? Or the other one?
Yes.
He beat Charlo. I think he beat Charlo. I saw before that they thought they wanted to fight either Charlo, Errol Spence, or someone else. I think Spence beats him. He bought off the last fight, but I don't know. But Spencer's my favourite fighter, so I'm just going to bring some biasness in.
I know, Will. I know. And this is a safe space for bias, by the way. I just want to get that in there because we're going to be talking about. I'm going to leave it until the end, but yeah. So, Will, 154, Charlo, you're basically saying that Tim Tszyu beats him. I believe the belts are going to be dropped like it's hot, in the words of Snoop Doggy Dogg. What's in terms of the rest of the 154 division? Well, what have you got to say, Will? And then we're going to go on to my brother Rah. Oh, Will, we can't hear you, Will. I think there might be something.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, can hear you.
I think it'll make some great fights if the belts do go vacant. I believe Spence will have jumped up, Walter, to a weight there.
Yes.
Which I'd look forward to seeing Errol at that new weight. I don't think him and Crawford's going to happen. So, but I think Tim Tszyu will definitely win a world title if they get relinquished. Or if not, I think he'd still beat Charlo.
Rah, what do you think about the 154 division at the moment?
You know what? I used to, much like Will, I weren't convinced by Tszyu. I thought, yeah, he's just a heavy-handed, aggressive fighter. I remember when he was talking a couple of years ago about challenging Charlo, he was saying, I don't think Charlo will like having pressure put on him. And I thought, you know, I always have a lot of time for fighters that become undisputed, especially the way Charlo did it by eliminating the other champs rather than a smash and grab. But based on the way Charlo went out sad against Canelo, never a good sign when a fighter's satisfied just to have survived the 12 rounds. I don't think we'll see Charlo at 154 again. If we do, he'll never be the same, because when a fighter goes up and then boils back down, especially when they're in their 30s, it never goes down well. So if Charlo does come back down and fights you, I think he gets stopped. If he's got any sense, he'll probably just pick up the belt at 160 that his brother's going to probably vacate for him. But yeah, I think it's fair to say Tszyu is probably the number one at 154 right now. And it's a red-hot division. I think in 2024, we're going to see it blown wide open again, because those belts will all become vacant. You know, you've got Matchroom's guys like Madrimov. Our own Josh Kelly might be in a world title fight before we know it. Spence, as William said, is coming up. But who knows? I mean, we could see Crawford in the mix there. Personally, the fight I wanted to see is Crawford against Charlo, undisputed at 154, to see Crawford could do the triple undisputed. And then I wanted to see Crawford jump to 168. I want you to know I said it first. I think.
No. Carry on, Rah. You're cooking, Rah. You're cooking.
Yeah. Crawford beats Charlo at 154 and he beats Canelo at 168. I'm putting it out there early. Just like I put it out there before anyone that Usyk will stop Fury. And I said that before the Ngannou debacle. So anyway, listen. 154, such a hot division. You know, Will, you got your work cut out for you, even at domestic level. I don't know if you saw, for example, the guy from just down the M60 from Jack McGann in Saudi Arabia. He's next in line for the British against Sam Antwi. So that big left hook is that knocked out Duran Jr. So even at domestic level, it's a hot division. And I remember we were talking about this a while ago, Rico. 154, that size man seems to be the average size of a man now in the Western world. And I think that's why it's the deepest division, because you got the most number of fighters settling in around that size. So, fantastic, both domestically and internationally. So many great fights there for Will. But hey, listen, as I said, Will, I'm not putting the same pressure on you as Rico. Look, it's 2 year plans
No,
get to the
goddammit,
top.
I am. No, Will,
Get-
I'm putting that pressure on you. You're whipping everyone's ass out here. Okay, that's
Will-
on God, and that's on Jehovah, and that's on any atheist god or whatever that these men are on. Ricky Gervais, whatever. Okay, I'm putting mad pressure on you, bro.
Listen, Will, I remember the time when prospects had a 3 or 4 year build-up period. Yeah,
Yeah.
go that route.
Yeah.
2 years, nah. Come on, look, you got.
Someone you mentioned then, Antwi, I thought, did you watch his last fight with Mason Cartwright? I was lucky to be there. That was a great fight.
What
Great
a
fight.
What a knockout. So, yeah, sensational. Tony Ellis asked, how many fights has Crawford got left? My answer is, it depends what level fighters. I mean, the sort of guys he's been knocking over for fun, I reckon he could go till 40 doing that. But I think he himself only wants the very biggest legacy fights. So, yeah, maybe 3 or 4. But, I mean, having seen the way Charlo performed, I don't even think that would take much out of Crawford. I think that's low-hanging fruit for him now. So, if he can get that next, I would like him to, especially as Charlo's going to have to boil back down. But then the big one to go out or not, like I said, I think that should be Canelo. But yeah, how many he's got left depends what he wants to do.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, lads, if we're looking at it linguistically, Terence Crawford himself has said, look, like, and I think we can all agree, Terence Crawford, for me, for you, for William, the man he should have been a star in, I would say, pre-pandemic, from when he first got undisputed at Top Rank. Okay, and you know, I love every single promotional outfit. Shout out to my Uncle Bob. Everybody knows that I'm a 1/10 Bob Arum on my Jewish side, which is my uncle's sister's brothers. I'm not gonna go into that, but everybody, like, just saying that, you know, there's always been deep investment within the undisputed. Crawford, in terms of and this is and this is where I can, you know, not just having bias and not just having anything, whatever, but the one great thing about you, Will, is that you do shows like this. You come on to spaces, you promote yourself. Okay, I don't want you to get to like 34, 5 or whatever, have to beat the shit out of somebody, and then you're a major star. That's just not what I would like personally. So I think it's absolutely amazing that you can actually go onto shows, promote yourself, and that's very important. And I think that's what Bob Arum was trying to say to Terence Bud Crawford, which he's doing now. You know, he's on NBC, he's on this or whatever, the American broadcast or whatever like that. So I believe that it's very important for a fighter. You may not want to do it, and you may just want to concentrate on stuff, and you may whatever. However, it's so important, so important. Ra, you can attest to this, where fighters, you don't want to go into the latter ends of your career and then be more accessible. You want to be doing this now, especially when you're getting knockout victories. And that's just my own 2 cents about everything. Now, we're going to bring it to, let's say, an eclipse. Okay. The 154-pound division, in terms of a Tim Tszyu, in terms of just the opportunities at 154 pounds. I mean, you have Conor Benn, right? Who we are going to talk about. This is the next topic, and I will tell you why. But just to kind of eclipse that on the 154 division, it's so important that you have to put yourself out there. Now, with Conor Benn, and you know, there's just so much to talk about in terms of a Conor Benn, but we're going to keep it here. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. They will be meeting apparently in mid-January tomorrow, according to your promoter, Will, and Mr. Eddie Hearn. I would like us to discuss this. I would like, first we're gonna lead with you, Will, because me and Rah, we talk too much. People are tired of our voices. So we're gonna go with you, and then we're gonna go with Rah. So how do you see that fight happening? How do you see the fight as a whole, Will, and who do you see winning?
I think it's a fight that I think most people will watch. I think it's a fight that everyone's going to watch just through how big it is because of the dads of two British boxing greats, aren't there? Who I think will win? I'm going to go Ben. I think last time, well, I know Liam Smith well. I think there's no hidden thing behind how the weight took its finger on him last time, and I think you could see that in his performance. And Chris struggled to get him out of there. I believe Chris should have done that earlier. I think Liam said it himself in an interview the other day. So I'm going to go.
One of the best press conferences I've ever been to in my life, by the way. And shout out to Michael Benson for not shouting out for that question for the thing. So kiss my ass. Sorry about that, Will. Not to interrupt you, but you are going Ben.
I'll go Ben.
Is that what you say?
I'm going to go Ben. Yeah.
It depends on brother Rah.
I think depends what weight.
So, Will, before I transfer the mic, let me give you the linguistics, the summarization, just for the nation. So, Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. will be meeting. Oh, excuse me. Oh my God. It's a storm out there, guys. Please forgive me. They will be meeting at 160 pounds, no catch weight, no nothing, no anything. This will be in England, apparently. Will, I want you on the next show so we can discuss this, because I know from your face right now you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, me too. Exactly. So we're gonna discuss the shows and stuff like that on the next one. However, it will be at 160 pounds mid-January. Conor versus Chris Eubank Jr. I believe the WBC will have it for the for some type of title, not the actual one. But Will, what do you have to say?
160. That is a lot more interesting at 160.
No catch weight, nothing. Will.
So nothing.
I know.
I'll stick with Ben. I'll stick with Ben.
Funny enough, the man just actually texted me. Okay, so Rah, come on.
What do I think of the fight, and how do I think it will go? I'll start off what I think of the fight. Again, sorry, boring, old, purist that I am, disappointed. In particular, Chris Eubank writing to the WBO asking not to be named as mandatory. Like, what are these guys in the sport for? I mean, and I ain't picking just on Chris. There's been numerous fighters in probably only this last decade I've seen this. Fighters get to a certain level and then don't take the title shot at that level, whether it's, your number one for the British. I mean, even now we're seeing constantly the board announce a particular guy mandatory for the British. They don't take it. Guy gets to ranked number one in the world, don't take their world title shot. Fine, if you don't want to fight for a world title, then carry on fighting journeyman and whatever. And if you're still learning or developing, but at 34 years of age fighting ex-world champions, you're not just learning. So, as a boring old purist, very disappointed in that. Also disappointed that Eddie's decided to take Conor down this novelty fight route. Like, again, why isn't he just being developed towards a world title shot, especially as undisputed champ Crawford is probably going to leave the welterweight division wide open in the next year. Fair enough, you don't want to stick Ben in too early with a Crawford or a Spence, but now the circumstances are aligning nice. Anyway, but that's what they've gone for the real big money fight. I've flip-flopped as to how it will go constantly as things have changed constantly over the past year.
Yes.
I think what's interesting is that some of the fighters who've sparred with Ben, a couple of them I've interviewed, and they say, yeah, Ben, he really does hit like insanely hard. Adam Azim,
It's like
for
a ton
example,
of
said
bricks. I've heard that. Bro, I've heard this guy has got Francis Ngannou
that. Yeah.
type of measurements
So,
in both hands, bro.
So yeah, I guess given Chris's age, we've seen that his punch resistance, it's not unbreachable anymore. Yeah, I'd go for a Ben stoppage, maybe mid rounds. Yeah, but like I said, any outcome wouldn't surprise me at this point. But yeah, I'll watch it. You bet your life I'll watch it, but I'll be complaining about it all the way through as to how they should have both gone a different route. But listen, I ain't the one taking the punches. They got to earn their dough. So yeah, good luck to them in that sense. But as the purist, would rather have seen Eubank fight Janibek. Hey, what a fight! That'd be a big fight. Probably fell out a big arena here in the UK.
I believe that it will. Obviously, just moving on to the 160-pound division, we might as well, lads. We might as well. So there's two Charlos apparently. I mean, not apparently. There's 160 Charlo who is making his debut on the undercard of a card that I wanted to talk about with you, gentlemen. Okay, specifically because I feel like we're gonna have a good time. We have Demetrius Andrade versus a Mexican who they say that is the boogeyman. Right. The boogeyman. Now, we're gonna go to the main event. No, actually, no. First, Demetrius Andrade, 160 Charlo, Jamel, spelled with an A, I believe.
Jamal, yeah, he's the middleweight one.
Yeah, yep, very creative from Mrs. From Auntie.
Mommy Charlo, yeah.
Auntie Charlo, yeah, from Auntie Charlo. Thank you very much. What do we think about his return? Is this legitimate? Will he pull out? Just a quick one, Rah. We're gonna go with you and then go with our good brother Will.
No, I think he's back. To all intents and purposes, he's had loads of personal issues and what have you. So not going to hate on him. I think the WBC's stance has been atrocious. I mean, just the sheer inconsistency of these bodies. When it suits them, they put people as champion emeritus in recess, in franchise, whatever. But then with this guy, they just let him disappear for 2 years and just remain champ. So, yeah, listen, if he's got personal problems, good luck to him. But, the WBC should have kept the division moving. I hope he stays at 160 because I'd like to. I mean, 160, the traditional division that is the middleweight division, it's atrocious. One of the weakest it's ever been.
I've never seen it this bad, Rah. I've never seen it this bad. Like
again, it's
for like a long time.
What I think is what we were talking about, the weight, the size factor. I just think that the men who would have been middleweights in a past era, they're now with modern nutrition and the whole the 24-hour weigh-in, middleweights of the past are now fighting at 105, 154. Yeah, because remember they used to have same-day weigh-ins up until about the 1970s. So, I don't know how much rehydrate to Will, but with the 24-hour rehydration, bigger men are boiling down more. So, I think that's why it's probably so weak. That size range is now just an in-between weight, which not many men fit into that category. That's my guess. I think Charlo's probably done with it, though. He's probably looking to move up and get a crack at Canelo, but But let's see. Yeah, but at 160, yeah, someone needs to clean up that mess. But there's no obvious heir apparent there.
Well, I am. What do you think of the black sheep? I mean, I was about to say black sheep. I'm sorry. About 160 Charlo coming back. He will be under the undercard. And we will close the show with the main event, which I'm not going to say until I hear your opinion, Will. 160 Charlo is back, baby. Will, what do you reckon?
Like Rah said then, like, it's sad that he's having personal problems outside of boxing, but that's not really anyone in boxing's problem. Like, he should have been stripped of that title ages ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. It's like he said then, you can't do one for one and then not for the other. Like, who was it who got stripped almost instantly? Like, Gemma Cordina got stripped of the IBF.
Yes.
Literally in a matter of weeks.
Absolutely.
There's been other ones as well. There's been others. I can't think of them. But yeah, he should have been stripped long ago. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been that long. I can't really tell you what he's like. Charlo.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opinion on that.
No, Will, that's a very valid opinion, and I think you speak for pretty much globally. That's pretty much what that is. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have an amazing main event coming up this November. We have Demetrius Andrade versus Benavidez, and everybody knows that I'm a 1/10 Al Heyman. On my sister's, brother's, uncle's, auntie's, cousin's side, the group chat has been popping. It's been amazing. Amazon Prime will host Demetrius Andrade versus it's Showtime. Amazon Prime will actually host Gervonta Tank Davis versus Cruz. That's one thing, William, for the next show, which you are going to be a part of. Thank you very much, William. We appreciate you. But Andrade Benavidez. Wow. I'm speechless, and both of you know me quite a while now. I'm rare for that. Okay, I've got a lot to say about stuff, but for me personally, I believe that this is do or die for Andrade. You know, I believe that Andrade has been absolutely inactive. I believe that he's, he was supposed to have that fight against Zach Parker. He didn't have that fight. And then my uncle Frank, obviously I'm in the Frank Warren group chat. You don't ask me about anything related. Ask me. But it's crazy, you know. Wow. Rah, we're going to go with you. And then we are going to end it on our illustrious guest. Nay, I say guest. I mean family member, Mr. William Crowler. Rah, tell me what you think about that fight. Let's express all of ourselves right now because shit is crazy.
Is it not? It's been a long time coming, both of them. Both these guys being talked about for ages as being a threat to Canelo, for one, for different reasons. And they both thought they could hang around. If they hang around long enough, they'll eventually get that shot at Canelo. The payday, as Canelo made fun of Andre. Again, Demetrius disappointed. Demetrius is an example of what I said. He refused the Zach Parker fight because it weren't enough money. John Ryder took it and took the payday against Canelo thereafter. You know, that's how you're meant to do it. You earn your shot. So anyway, both their hands have been forced. You're right. It is probably last chance saloon more for Andrade. He's a big underachiever. I always thought that he could have been a lot better. I wouldn't go as far as to say great, but he could have had a much better career if he'd taken a few more risks when he was younger. But hey, they're there now. Be a great fight, yeah. Great style matchup, classic pressure fighter against skilled boxer, and let's see if they get that Canelo payday finally, which isn't a given. because Canelo he does what he wants, and the governing bodies let him do as he wants. That's very important as well. So better late than never. So as fans, we should applaud it now that it's here. But it's by no means a given either of them are going to go on to anything great afterwards. The queue at super middleweight is very long to get at those belts that Canelo's got. Yeah, so he'll do as he sees fit. What do you think, William?
William, what do you think of Payday? Payday.
Sorry, I was sneaking some tea in then.
I know, mate. Jesus Christ. Don't eat the tea bags, bro. That's long.
I think Andrade, I used to think he was very good. He's boring, but he's very good. But yeah, he's been too inactive, and I think Benavidez can fight, man. I picked Plant to beat him last time, and he went to town on Plant a bit. I do think he'll be the next one to take over Benavidez when Canelo either moves up or fights him. I'll probably give him the best chance of beating him. But like you said, if for some reason these fights aren't getting made, and if they're looking for the easiest fight for the biggest payday, and I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. I'm pretty sure I'm not out of term in saying Benavidez is Mexican, isn't he?
Mexicano El Cabrones, yes.
The same as so. There's no reason him and Canelo shouldn't be fighting on Mexican Independence Day next year. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's absolutely no reason at all. He sells out a stadium wherever it's going to go in Mexico for them fight fans. And
well, can I ask you something? Is it ducking if he does beat Andrade, right? And
doesn't
Canelo. Is it ducking if Canelo doesn't take him next?
Yeah, would he be made mandatory? Yeah, I think that's a fight that you've got to want to see. Like, no one wants to see Canelo v. Bivol again because he's not big enough. He'd get beat again. I don't, like you say, the only person I would watch who's at a different weight is Crawford, just to see if Crawford could beat Canelo for Crawford's own.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God, yes.
But other than that, it's got to be Benavidez. I think it's got to be Benavidez who Canelo fights next.
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This has been myself, ReKO_boxing. This has been Rah for Pinch Out Boxing. And this has been future 154. Well, I say 154. Super welter champ. Okay, in the building right now. My
world champ. What are you talking about? Champion at 154 to 168.
I do apologize, Rah. We have a future multiple division champion. My wording was so outrageous out here, William. I do apologize. We have future multi-weight champion William Crowler. The guy is too humble to fucking say anything, but Rah and I are not like humble like that, so we're gonna give him the flowers right now. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been tuned in. Will, before we end the stream, before we end the live, is there anything that you would like to say in terms of a fight date specifically, especially seeing as you've just dispersed your opposition, no niggles, no iggles, and you want to end the year off high for a big 2024? Will, the floor is yours, my guy.
Like you see, I think I announced today that I'm fighting in 3 weeks. 3 weeks at Bowlers in Manchester. Just another step towards just doing my apprenticeship on getting the rounds in. Because like I said to you, man, once I get the rounds in, I'll happily fight anyone. I'll fight anyone. I don't fear anyone in that way. I think I said it in an interview the other day to YFL that I'm not asked about my own. I won't lose it, but I don't care about putting it on the line. Do you know what I mean? I feel like all these prospects have to start fighting each other, and everyone wants the big money and stuff like that. If we all start fighting each other, the big money's going to come because the bills will be bigger. It sells out better places, and that's where the money will come. Because fight fans want to watch me say 8-0 against another 8-0 kids. They don't want to watch me against someone who I'm supposed to beat. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one thing I will take from the UFC. I don't really like watching UFC, but the best do fight the best in there, and prospects fight prospects. And I think boxing could take that from UFC.
Well, William, you're literally, and I've interviewed Rah and I, between us both, I think we've interviewed damn near the whole division of everything. However, it's so refreshing, and Ra will agree to this, that to hear somebody like yourself, up and coming, have earned their right to a signature in terms of a promotional aspect. Ra, and I'm obviously going to let you speak because you have lots of things going, and I want people to know your Addy, and I want people to know what you're doing, especially in terms of the amazing things that Punch Out Boxing are doing. So I'm going to let you have the floor after. But Will, congratulations on your victory. Congratulations on having your fight in the next 3 weeks. If I can make that to Manchester, pitch invasion. We already spoke about this. So what I will say is thank you so much to you for coming on, and thank you so much for always supporting the grind and supporting myself in every,
course, man.
you know, just my brother. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for the time together.
Ra, the floor. Oh, we're gonna do this thing. Ra, the floor is yours, my guy. Please tell everybody the amazing things that you are doing.
Yeah, check us out, Punch Out Boxing. We go to small hall shows, big shows, as you know. I'll go to the world heavyweight title fights, but also the small hall shows. My colleague Dave up there in the Midlands, he's going to a Bernard Manning show up in Wal. Coming is next week. We've got Harlem Eubank down on the south coast. Will we see you there, Rico? Hope so. It's local.
1,000,000% you will.
My colleague Carl, he's going to be covering the Matchroom show up in Newcastle on the 18th. Of course, we've got the big show in Manchester. So yeah, hopefully you will see me bringing you content from all of them shows and more besides.
Ra, before we go, Ra, tell them your Addy, where they can reach you on in terms of an Instagram, in terms of a Twitter, anything like that.
Instagram, Twitter, it's just as you see on the screen, Rah_Hokum. And on YouTube, we are Punch Out Boxing. So, keep an eye out on those for upcoming content.
And where can the good people reach you at? And where can they find tickets, more importantly, for your show?
My Instagram's at William Crawler, so's my Twitter. Just give me a message on there and we can sort something. But reach from both of them on there.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. This has been the RnR Hour, the best show, I might add. That will be consistently happening because we're going to be having amazing guests. We have already amazing people on the show. We've started it off with future multi-weight division world champion William Crowler. We're just doing this shit like we just don't care, goddammit. We are just absolutely killing everything, and everything. Have a great night, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Take care. Have an amazing day, and God bless all of you. And watch out for the storm because the winds are high. Take care, guys.
Another band, all the Mars and cars now, whichever hit up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag by the end. Say, oh, it's another one, yeah, it's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one,